everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Nicole and I'm a Virgo who likes to do makeup. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be a really fun, exciting new video to my channel where I do ranking my products video. So I'll take, like, for example, today's video, all of my concealers. I lined them up. I ranked them from what at this moment I'm loving now. Like, let's just say, you know, if it was maybe 6 months ago, it wouldn't be the same ranking. So as of right now, ranking them from best to worst and kind of running through like my thoughts on them. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's just go ahead and get started. I think I'm gonna do this like ranking it from least favorite in my collection to my favorite in my collection. So this is something that I've invested a lot of time and research and money into with what is like a concealer that I like. So starting off at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Starting off at the bottom of our list is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer. And this one I have is in the shade C3 because my cousin says she doesn't know where my C6 went. It's a joke. But anyways, I put this one at the bottom of my list because I purchased it and I think I've used it only like twice. And I've never gone back to it and I never was inclined to go back to it. Although like I like the little applicator, I think that it's like pretty cute and it's supposedly supposed to be a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape. In my opinion, I also wasn't a big fan of Tarte Shape Tape because I do have dry skin. So when I would apply it on my dry skin, it would look not the best and it was too much for me as far as like coverage. I would put a lot on, especially when triangles are in, and then try to blend it out and it would be too cakey that it just didn't look good. It wasn't a good look. So this one I find is even harder to blend out than Tarte Shape Tape and is a little bit more of a dry formula. So that's why this one out of my collection is ranking at the bottom of my list. But it is affordable. So if you are looking for something similar to Tarte Shape Tape, maybe this will work for you. But unfortunately for me, it's at number 19. Coming in at number 18 is the Kylie Jenner Concealer, and I have the shade Shell. One thing I want to say before I talk about it is that I really like this packaging of this concealer. It's really sleek, and my best friend actually is going to be very disappointed that I ranked this kind of low on my list because she loved this concealer and used it to like the last itty bit. I even told her like I wasn't a fan of it and I would even give it to her because I just don't remember much about it because it's been a while, but I've never touched it since. As you can tell, it's full, and from what I remember, like I just remember it being very creasy and very matte, and like again, especially back then my skin was even drier then, so like it didn't sit well on my skin and I thought that it creased a lot. So I did not enjoy this concealer in comparison to a lot of my other concealers. Next, I know a lot of people, this too is also their favorite, but again, this is something that I feel like is a little bit more matte and drying of a formula. This one I really didn't like as much either. It wasn't anything special to me that I thought like I was blown away by, so it kind of just got lost, you know, in my makeup and I never returned to it. So this one again, like I wasn't very impressed with it, which is why it's at number 17 on my list. Bum, 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 bum. At number 16, I'm ranking the Tarte Shape Tape, and I was in the shade Light Neutral. I purchased this concealer twice. I always got the shade Light Neutral. This was like, I feel like when a specific style of makeup was super in, and although I love the packaging, I love the big like little thing right there, you know? It's very full coverage, and I'm not into a super heavy full coverage look. This is something that I could put like a little bit and really do a lot with, but instead like sometimes it would just look a little too heavy on me, so I kind of started to go a different way with my makeup style, and this one just wasn't really fitting in anymore, and a little bit more on the drier side as far as like very matte like. Didn't really enjoy it, although I would be interested in like returning to it just to test it out, but it's something that I feel like has gotten pushed aside from a lot of other products in my collection. That's why this one is ranking at number 16. At number 15, I ranked the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I ranked this one high because so weird and I love sponge applicators, and I ranked this above the others because I thought that price range, Drugstore Queen, I think this one is a really good concealer, and I think that I like the formula for this one a lot because it's not as matte and not as drying. It does give decent coverage and not super full coverage, but I think that it gives like a more natural finish to the skin, which works well with my dry skin. Again, another Maybelline product, ranking number 15. I would say if I was ranking drugstore, this would be definitely top 5, would be this Maybelline concealer. I'm in the shade 15 Fair Clair, and this one I like a lot because it has more of a natural finish, giving good coverage and also not being very creasing and long lasting, which is why I put it in front of Age Rewind, because I feel like this one is very long lasting on the skin. At number 13, I have the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I rank this one above the Maybelline one just because I feel like this one gives you more full coverage, which I feel like a lot of people sometimes look for, especially for like a drugstore price. This one is very full coverage. The only thing I don't like about it as much is that it's a teensy bit hard. It's a teensy bit hard to like blend out, which I mean like by that is that it dries down very quickly. So you gotta move fast, girl, because otherwise it gets like a little hard to blend out, although it can blend. That's just a little frustrating for me, but I think that I really do enjoy the formula. Finish, the coverage, I enjoy the finish, the formula, the coverage, and the 16-hour long last that it has to it. So that's why I ranked this one number 13. At number 12 on my list of concealers, I have the KKW concealer. I had been dying to get my hands on this. I have the shade number 2, and this one I really chose like a really light shade so that I would brighten underneath the eye and really focus on like highlighting for that Kim K under eye look. I really enjoyed the formula and the finish of this concealer. It's not very full coverage. I would say it's more like medium and you can build with it. But what I like about this one a lot was like the shade that I chose specifically to get that under eye brightening effect. What I would say is that I started to rank this a little lower on my list and stop using it because it gave this like, I hate to say it, but like a burning sensation under my eyes sometimes. And I started to really pick up on that and I was like, okay, yeah, like this concealer kind of stings a little and it was kind of irritating me and I'm not sure why. So I did have to stop using it as much as I did and now I don't use it anymore. But I would enjoy the formula and the finish because it was more like of a natural look and for a medium coverage look. So on those days that I was looking for something a little more less coverage, I did really enjoy it. But as I said, it started to like tingle under my eyes, so I pushed this guy aside. So this one is ranking number 12 on my list. At number 11 would be the Fenty Beauty Concealer. I was in the shade 150. The reason why I ranked it above the KKW one is because it didn't sting my eyes. I think that this is also a medium coverage concealer. The packaging is oh so cute because it matches the foundation packaging that they came out with. This one is a little bit more on the matte side, although it's not extremely drying like the Tarte Shape Tape or others that I've tried. This is why it's ranking number 11 on my list. So when I'm looking for something that isn't on the dewy side, I could use this one and be happy with the outcome that it gives me, although it's not my favorite, which is why it's ranking number 11. So these are my top 10 concealers in my collection. We're now at number 10, which is the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer. The reason why I love this one and rank this one so high on my list is because that it is actually a water-based concealer. With that being said, it gives you a very light to medium coverage look, but so natural and skin-like while also still giving you a little bit of coverage. I got this one. Sorry, that's my PlayStation. I got this one in the same shade as my skin tone and I didn't go a shade lighter or two, just for the sole fact that I like to wear this one when I don't wear any foundation. So I'll put this under my eyes, everywhere else. 10 out of 10 recommend, and my cousin Frank gave me that idea because he recommended it and he said that it worked really well for him. Ranking number 9 on my list is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer. The reason why I ranked this one again very high on my list is because it's a drugstore concealer and I feel like it's very important to be very inclusive with like price range wise, and I think that this one from the drugstore is a amazing concealer. It's full coverage, so if you're looking for a full coverage drugstore concealer, I like this one a lot. It's actually what I'm wearing right now. I don't have any foundation on, and so I knew that this was going to give me the coverage that I wanted while also letting my skin breathe from not wearing any foundation, and it gives me more of a matte, I would say, finish, but not a drying matte. So I guess you would say like more like demi matte finish that like I with dry skin can still wear and be very happy with the finish on my skin. And I think that it is very long wearing, and that's why I'm ranking it number 9. With number 8 on my list, I ranked the Jouer High Coverage Essential High Coverage Liquid Concealer. This concealer, I ranked it higher because it's Creaseless, it's a soft matte finish, and it's also infused with hyaluronic acid. This one is more high end, but I think that with all those things being said, it kind of goes to show that like it's worth the price. I really like the finish that this gives. It's also very full coverage, so I'm able to just put a little bit on, and with my dry skin, it doesn't make me look like the life has been sucked out of me. So those are some reasons why I'm ranking this one number 7. Ranking number 6 on my list is the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. And to be honest with you, the reason why I ranked this one so high on my list is because I love to conceal. Not only conceal my eyes with this, but I love to spot conceal because it's super full coverage. I like this one as a replacement for my Tarte Shape Tape, and that's why Tarte Shape Tape got pushed so far behind, because this one gives you the same full extreme coverage but also still giving more like of a natural finish on the skin, while also providing, I feel like, really good undertones in their range, so it's like easier to pick out like your shade. And this one I use every day to sculpt out my brows, so that's why I could never get rid of it because of the finish. It's so natural. It doesn't ever, like when I sculpt my brows out, look really drying around the like that area of the skin, while also giving me the full coverage that I need. So that's why I ranked the Too Faced Born This Way concealer at number 6 on my list. Going in at my top 5 is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I recommend this as one of the best high-end concealers because I think that the finish that it gives is so model-esque skin type finish. Like when I put this on, I feel like I'm just like a runway model skin, just like serving my under eyes goodness that it needs, because sometimes my under eyes are the very driest area of my skin. When I found the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, it gave me really good coverage while also finishing with a natural look to my skin, not matte, just like a natural finish to the skin that you can build up, but it just is so like almost like filtering, like smoothing on the skin. That's why this one is ranking at number 5 on my list. My list is this Makeup Forever Ultra HD Concealer. I really enjoyed this one a lot because it's like perfect for those days, like I mentioned with like the Becca Aqua Luminous Concealer. I like this one when I would put on to go to class and kind of just give me some coverage while also not putting foundation or anything else on. I like this one a lot for that reason, because it was a medium coverage concealer and it could be very buildable. I didn't have to set it. This one was known for being a self-setting concealer, so that's why I really chose to use it a lot. So that's why I really enjoyed this one, for being self-setting, medium coverage, and a natural finish. Ranking at number 4 on my list is the Tarte Creaseless Concealer. This is a concealer that I've recently picked up and jumped all the way to the top of my list, and the reason why I knew I was going to love it so much and I was trying to get my hands on it so badly is because my favorite YouTuber, Kathleen Lights, she has dry skin and she tends to have a lot of makeup preferences that I like, and this concealer, let me tell you, is super dewy. This is the most dewy full coverage concealer that I have. It's not full coverage, but like the most coverage out of all my dewy concealers. This I would say is more of a medium coverage concealer. It is called the Creaseless Concealer, and no, I don't think that it does crease, but I feel like what it really should be called is like wet concealer, because this concealer, like you put it on and it literally just leaves your skin looking like super wet, kind of, even throughout the day. Like it gives you just like that really dewy look to the under eye. Sometimes I really enjoy that look, so I search for products that'll give me that look. The reason why that's ranking so high on my list is because I do tend to try to achieve that look very often, especially on my no makeup days, especially if you're having dry skin. I really enjoy this concealer for the fact that it's very dewy on the skin, medium coverage, and it doesn't crease. Also pretty decently long wearing, so I definitely recommend this one if you're looking for something that is like something that I described, something similar to it. 10 out of 10 recommend. I'm in the shade Light 20N. Top 3 products of concealer would be number 3, the Glossier Stretch Concealer. I love this concealer. I love this brand. The packaging, A+. I think that it's so cute and also super easy to use. I love this concealer because I'm able to use this on the go and get a very natural, no makeup look, and I really mean that because it doesn't give you like medium coverage. You can do like a light coverage look with this. Very oily on the skin, and it's very easy to blend out. So this I like because you can either put a brush in here and really quick go ahead and conceal up any places on your face, or you can just use your finger in the pot and just really quick put a little bit of concealer on. And this also, like I said, considering that it's oily, it does have like a dewier finish, but this in comparison to Tarte Shape Tape does not have the amount of coverage, because that's kind of what Glossier, like their whole vibe is. It's like no makeup, like effortless look. This is why I really enjoyed this one a lot, and specifically on those days where I want to do a little bit of less makeup, I really would repurchase this over and over again and would always want to keep one of these in my collection. So that's why this one is ranking at number 3. Ranking my top 2 products, number 2, we have the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra-Longwear Concealer. This one ranks at my number 2 spot in my concealer collection, and I really think that like I could make an entire little baby crib for this one because I love this concealer so much. What I really like about this concealer is that I was inspired by Katie, someone on YouTube that I really like a lot, and I love the way she does makeup. I picked up this concealer because of her, and I got the shade 1C. What I did differently here in all these concealers was that I picked up a concealer that had a little bit more of a peachy undertone, and I feel like this type of peachy undertone that it actually gives me is exactly why I like this one so much, aside from the finish, because the actual undertone of it is unlike any other undertone that is in any of these brands. Actually, I enjoy it because slight peachy undertone that it has kind of color corrects itself while also still being like something that is a little more wearable and not super pinky, especially for someone who has like more of like, I feel like a neutral undertone to my skin and a slightly bit more on the yellow side, I would say. I think this type of peachy undertone works well with my skin while also giving me such a pretty finish to the skin. I would say it's more medium to full coverage. You can build it up to be full, but I really like this one because of the way that it sits on my skin and the way that it sits on my skin throughout the day. It ends up having like more of a natural finish to it, not on the matte side at all, but not super dewy. I feel like it's the perfect mixture of both while also still giving my under eyes such a beautiful look. I think that that's why this one ranks number 2 on my list. And as far as number 1 on my list, I have the Magic Away Liquid Concealer by Charlotte Tilbury. I really enjoy this one so much right now for the sole fact that, like, again, I really like sponge applicators. I also really love the way that this finish looks on my skin. This one is a little bit more like for an everyday thing versus this one has like a neutral undertone versus the peach undertone that I feel like only I can wear with certain looks when I'm wearing actual foundation. This one I can wear without foundation. With foundation, it gives such a model skin like finish to the look. I feel like that's what Charlotte Tilbury's brand really embodies as like as a whole. I think this one gives more of like a medium coverage, which is why I really like it a lot, so I can really build it up to my liking while also giving my under eyes such a really pretty look. So that's why this one ranks at number 1 on my list for my concealer. Those two concealers really deserve the number 1, number 2 spot for sure. There's no second guessing that. So that's why those for sure take the spots number 1 and number 2 in my concealer collection. That's it for ranking my products video of concealer edition. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up because it's the first time I'm doing a video like this on my channel, or please leave some comments so that I can get some feedback on it. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, Patches, if we're gonna do this, you need to come now and don't step on the concealers. And yeah, that's about it. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Nicole here if you're new here. Okay. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, fuck, I forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4,